Okay, hello, welcome to the live stream. I haven't done this in a while. I did just try it and it did fail. So it looks like it's working this time. I can see it coming up on YouTube at the moment. I'm just sorting out some... Yes, okay, so I am live. I'm just sorting out some stuff like putting it on Artstation and so on. Then I will start off with a quick mistake that I made and deciding what I do next. I'm kind of just doing random things. I think it's going to be substance just to ease it in. But I did use a brush yesterday. So it's a fairly quick sort of thing. But yeah, I think I want to jump into substance. Let's see, what is that? What has it got? Oh, auto save. Okay, that's cool. Didn't know it did that. Okay, so just posting to Artstation. Let's just check that that live link is working. Let's mute my video. Okie dokie. Seems alright to me. I'll keep my stream thing there. That's got my chat on it. Right, so yes, we've got my scene. It's quite blocky at the moment. We've got reference up. I've got quite a lot of reference for later on. A few for the substance later on. A few of their references, mainly that Dumbledore scene and Game of Thrones. But that is the main reference. And it's one that a lot of people have chosen, so there's plenty of feedback to draw from, because you can always check out other people's work, see what you like, what you don't like. In fact, one of my friends from uni is doing the same one, so we're constantly just talking. Ignore the ice cream trucks if you can hear them. But we're constantly just on Discord talking about the project and just going about our own ways. We've got a few different ideas here and there, but we are drawing from the same concept, so it's going to end up being fairly similar. They've got their call-out sheet here that they've done, which is a good reference, which is what I've drawn from for getting all these sort of random props, which I'll dedicate a lot of time to later on in the challenge. But for now I want to start off with a problem that I had. So it's pretty alright at the moment. I could place more boxes just of all the assets that are needed in that scene. So as you can see, there's like a ton of stuff at the front here, and that would help, but they would just be blocks that I'm putting into different locations, and as far as I'm concerned, the actual prop section of it doesn't need as heavily blocking out, as it's not like a gameplay area. It doesn't need blocking out right now. So I pretty much focused just on I'm going to focus on getting the walls right, because that's like 90% of the image, because as soon as I move out of the space, it's all going to be made out of that stuff. Then there's just some architecture stuff here that's alright. Decide how that's made. The shelves, and then past that point it's all props. And then I think I'm going to do some kind of... Oops. I think I'm going to do some kind of something good in this little circle area here, but... but that's what I've got at the moment. just going to whittle away at it. Sculpt this, get rid of all these, because I don't really like that. Sort something out with the roof, and then create more of this sort of stuff. I think that's alright. So currently this is a mistake. I sculpted it, and then I've put on a basic rock that I downloaded, and I want to create my own rock. I don't need to, as you can see here. It's kind of looks like it, you know, I could just do more in Painter and make it look right, but I want to jump into Substance Designer and do rocks for a little bit, so that's going to be pretty cool. But I realised that I didn't put the right smoothing groups on in the actual mesh. I had it as this, so I didn't do the sharp edges by mistake. So I wanted to start off by just showing the difference that makes, because now that I've put the sharp edges on and I export this as that mesh, it should fix some of those issues. I haven't tried it out yet, so I don't know, but that edge is not looking correct to me. So when I bake this, if it doesn't break my stream, when I bake this, those harsh problems should go away, I hope. Let's have a look. It's really just the normal map that needs fixing. Apparently that didn't go away. Or maybe it's not updated properly yet. Hello. So I don't know, I'd like feedback on what just happened when I was baking during the stream. I've got a pretty good PC, so I'm hoping it can handle this sort of stuff, but I know a lot of people don't use the same. I don't know, if I'm gonna bake, it's gonna use a lot of my CPU and stuff, so I imagine that that's not good. Don't know where all that overlap's coming from. I think that's probably. There's nothing Z fighting this. Might be GPU related, RTX. But I will fix that later. So I was hoping just baking then would get rid of that harsh edge, because that's not correct. Let's get rid of that and just turn off all the layers. Oh, where did I put my layers? Let's just turn off all the layers. Yeah, so the hard edges are in. And my high poly has fairly soft edges, which I'm not a big fan of. It's because I inflated it just at the end there, so this is the first one that I've had a go at, and I haven't used that brush in a while, so I think I'll probably redo it, or it'll get better over time, because I'm going to do quite a few of these. So the first one, that's how it looks. I'm going to do it like at least 3 or 4 more times, so hopefully as they progress they get a little bit better. But even though it's got soft edges in some places, which I'm not, well, it's all soft edges when it should be hard edges, it definitely shouldn't look like it does with the normal map on. Oh no, yeah, no, I guess that's right now actually. Oh, did I not update that? Strange. Oh, is it the is it okay. I will have to try planar this. I've got my layers on a different screen. I don't think that's too important to see, as long as you can see what I'm doing. I'm not sure, because I didn't like it just having that a small window here. So I think I need to change this to triplanar. And that, I don't know, those edges are pretty bad. Maybe just get a yeah, those edges are not good. And the UV map, I don't know, it could be better. I think it needed, it does need, this is per pillar. So you've got a strip per pillar, and when this gets to a final mesh, I will be making sure they all point the same direction, because I'm going to do quite a lot of vertical or horizontal detail per pillar, rather than what it is at the moment, which is just random. And then I can just put on the detail where I need it. Like I can just roll up a brush or something like that, I don't know. Just make that normal again. Oh, please tell me what happens in the stream when I do bake, because I'm not sure if it breaks it or not. So if I'm talking and I'm baking, I don't know if it's causing issues. Yeah, that's no good. So if I turn the rock off, I mean if I just turn the height off, strange. I'm going to make my own rock anyway, is what I was explaining, so maybe if I just grab my layers and I just put levels on the height, and I just try and bring it, oh. Okay, let's see if there's any more rock available. I don't think there is. Pebble, not useful. So that's the rock that I'm using, I just got it off source. If I just give it a concrete instead, yeah, then that, okay, that's still got issues. Okay, yeah, but it's better with triplanar. But that doesn't look quite how I want it anyway, so the substance that I'm creating for mine, let's get that open. So the substance I'm creating for mine is it probably is gonna remove those issues. So if I get a lot of sculpted detail and just keep the if I just keep the texture on the seams just completely flat, and then I just keep all the sculpted detail in there when I update this, then hopefully my rock surface should get rid of all those issues because it's much more flat. So let's get a good view on it. I really, last night when I was making this, I didn't really know what it needed just to push it over the edge. I still think it needs a little something to make it look a little bit better, but I can't quite decide what that is. It just doesn't look right at the moment. No, that could be. Is there a sharpen? I could sharpen that. Maybe sharpen this. Not so much on that. So sharpen the roughness and sharpen the albedo. And I don't know, maybe that looks a little bit better. I can see I've got my live stream open on the on my other screen, so I can see when people are joining. And I'm just working on this rock substance at the moment. I've got my reference over here. So there's a few scans on textures.com which I think are free, or at least you can get some low resolution ones for free. I am using this as a learning opportunity, so I am trying to push my substance to a high quality level, and that's why I'm not going to be using scan data or anything like that, even though I could just download it and use it. And as I mentioned, inside here I've got rock at the moment that from source that can be used. My layers. That's already in there. So I've got a rock in there that can be used, and that makes it look all right. But I'm trying to create my own, and hopefully I can reach the quality of some of these. But I want it to be like a base, like this. So right now it's only had a little bit of time put into it. I'm going to move it back to just seeing like a little bit of grayscale on it. Maybe just focus on the height and the roughness and the AO, which I reckon is not being visible right now. So if anyone's got any opinions in the chat of what this rock could use to be pushed to, again, if I can find my reference, this sort of level. My idea being just making something like this and then being able to put it on top of something like with a bit more info in it. So I'll create something like this, but I'll create it in a separate substance, and then I'll get my rock surface substance, and I'll just overlay that on top of this, and it should cover all that micro detail. So I'm really focusing on I want to focus on the micro detail of this for starters. But I'm not quite sure what it needs. It's not got too much to it at the moment. This is like pebbles. Well, not pebbles, but I can see in the you see some of these little dots that come in. They're from in the reference. You got some of this sort of. There's a dot there. There's little bits that stick out, but it's part of the surface. So that's what I was trying to do there. There is slightly blurred. Maybe I can sharpen that up a little bit. See what kind of effect that has. Maybe it's just, I kind of like the shininess on it, but Maybe I could just add an extra range at the end there just to push it wherever it needs to go. Or not. Oh yeah, moving the wrong one. Don't know, is it too noisy? Does it need perhaps, like, because this is kind of getting the shapes, but it's not, but it's just like too bumpy, I'd say. Perhaps. Let's see if I was, so if that's too bumpy, what I was planning on doing is maybe do like a non-uniform blur. Oops, grayscale one. Non-uniform blur grayscale by maybe histogram. Pretty random. So let's see what that's doing. Should be smoothing out some areas just a little bit. So that area is now part of the, so that's the more noisy area. Plug that back in. It's not good. Still not good at the moment. Let's get that, gradient map that. I think maybe it's a lot of the base colour. Maybe just keep that dark one. Okay, a little bit more structure to it. Yeah, I might put that in as a base. And I've got that one as green splodges. So if I somehow just get this in as a base, it's getting very messy on here. So I think I want to blend that one, which is my intro one, starting off. Let's move some of these down. Really, I'm just going to move it far away. So base colour starts roughly around here. Let's get that up there. And yes, so I'm blending this in, but really that one's the base. And that one's the top. Turn the range down on that. Let's make that a little bit non-uniform. That's like the high frequency noise. But that's like, I don't know. You're not really going to see it much. You're not going to see it up close. But it's still not quite right. I mean, it's just a bass, so it should be fairly uniform. Let's sort this out. Just make the ambient occlusion stronger. So I think this is all right. I'm not the best at colouring at the colour stage, but let's have a look at the reference again. It just needs more of that light coming in. So I think I've got a lot of that dark surface. That's all right. I'm going to copy this, and I like to transformation 2D after that as well, and just like rotate it randomly as long as it's square, and then just move it so that it doesn't line up directly with so now I'm lining it up, well, so to not line it up with the rest of it, and then I think I should be able to just increase the position on that. Maybe I can do something else with it. Come on. Maybe I can just turn them into proper splodges. So now they're a bit more to them. I'll multiply that back over because it's just too much. Do something to them just to make them I think I'll do that, but I'll do that similarly to the other one. I'll put another transformation in, and I'll just do it at another random angle with another random offset so that they don't line up directly. And I think I will turn it back down. Get rid of this. No, wait, I don't want to get rid of that. Spreads it out. Keep these before they go crazy. And that should be more or less, I think that's similar to this sort of stuff, this light stuff that comes on. It's kind of random like that. What I think I'll do is randomize it a little bit more, so I don't even need that. I'll do a make it tile. Move this up here because it doesn't need to be part of the base color initially. So make it tile. Maybe change the octave to just 2 instead of 3. I'm just trying to make a bass rock, you know, start off in Substance. So as I've been talking throughout several points of this stream, this is what it looks like with a rock on it, but maybe Declan, you got some ideas? Like, look how bad that seam is. That is pretty awful. And it's all because of the height of the object, of the rock surface that I've got from just from substance source. So I know what the issue is, but it's like that was only a temporary thing that I was putting in there, and I do need height on there. I think I could, what I could do is just put the height back in and then make a new paint layer, and then you just grab the rock surface as a brush, and then you might be able to paint it out a little bit that way, but clearly that isn't working. And it doesn't look very good because it's like tiled a ton on the thing. But either way, I'm working on a rock, a base rock that is just going to be used across the entirety of the project. So basically anything, pretty much everything's going to have this chamfering. So at the moment it's just been pro-optimized from ZBrush. So it's pretty much it's mostly made out of triangles, and I think that's usually worked for me in the past whenever I've done rocks, but I've not really done rocks with with this sort of structure, I suppose. So and then also I guess the real solution is just not to overlay it afterwards in Painter and to apply the rock surface in ZBrush beforehand, and then it would just be in ZBrush, and it wouldn't rely on the UV seams. But we were talking about that last night, weren't we? So I'm going to try. I'm going to push forward with my base rock that I want to create anyway as a substance, and then, as I've said earlier in the stream, I'm going to be going back into ZBrush on that, and I'm going to be doing like 4 or 5 variations anyway. So that was just so I'll come back to it, and I'll be doing some other tests with how I want it to look and all that sort of stuff. I did briefly try and separate the. It was very brief. I tried to separate that midsection there. As you can see how that's turned out. It's very thick at the moment because I tried pinching it, which is why it's so wavy. But I think in general it might. I'm going to end up resculpting anyway. So that's just where I am. Let's see, so octave, disorder, size variation, rotation variation, and I like giving them more width or height than what they've got, so they're not so uniform as they were. So hopefully that brings in some of that, and I'll do luminosity variations, so I'll bring in some of that directional stuff to it rather than just being sort of splodges. And reference, I think I'll then, now that, because that's where I can tell that bit's sort of repeating a lot, I think I'm just going to blend over maybe another one, random seed it, and I'll just try out some of these. auto levels. See how crazy I can go on the height or width without it looking too silly. Because the subtraction's still less of a width, so I think that's kind of okay to get some of this stuff in. I think I'll just blend one more, only one more, man, and just subtract. Just to get some, because that's what I want, this sort of random edges to this, rather than if I go a little bit earlier on, that's too uniform, and I'm subtracting, then auto levels, then subtraction again. There's not really enough of that, I'd say. Let's try different. Yeah. But that's still base colour stuff. I think this is maybe added on top. I don't know if there's a bit of height to that. So that got a slight bit of, I don't know if that's just coincidence or not. I don't know if it's got a bit of height to it, but it could be raised up. Again, I'll take any opinions in the chat that could make this look a little bit better, because when I do zoom in, or if I put it back to just being grayscale, it's kind of at a distance. Maybe it looks okay at distance, but then you can just tell that it's got too many little bits to it or something. I don't know. It just needs a little something. I think I'll add that on. Let's arrange this a little bit better, because I know what's going on, but probably nobody else does. That's the roughness right there. Not very much to that. So I think I will blend this into the roughness. Make that more rough. This is generating some curvature stuff. And start commenting. How do you have to right click in this for frames? Just using the Unreal editor. So it says my stream health is low. Okay. So again, bring up reference. Still not. I mean, I do like this. I like it's almost it's in a medium detail right at the start, because it started at medium. Yeah, I think it's looking all right in some places, but then it's just that really fine, bubbly surface to it that I don't like. Perhaps. And I like this. Just gotta use it properly. Cheers. Yeah, they've got new. You know, everyone used to get that Daniel Tiger's non-directional warp, but now Substance will come out with their own non-directional warp, and it's got. I was trying out this this. You can put a trail on it, trail length, so you can turn that up. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but for anyone else, and then it turns into this sort of fluffy hair, because it's like it's doing it in all directions and it's sort of streaking it, so it's kind of like it makes it pretty fluffy. But then I've kind of cut that off with the original before it, and then combined it into more bits. And then by the time I got to making it tile and stretching it out, so I did to make it tile like I did earlier, and I've put the width much higher than the height and just stretched it out, and I think that gives that sort of, it's still wavy but it's long, and then subtracting the actual noise earlier on gives it the hardness. And then I put some pebbles on it. Not pebbles, I don't know what to call them. Little sticky outy bits, which appear in the reference. Stuff like that little bit there and all over the place. This has got like big details like that, but that's not what I want for this. Let's see. Let's blend into. So it's going to be before the algae sort of thing. Great description words being used. Gradient map. And let's get that. Press the right buttons. I'll get it from like up the top here, this sort of white, the really light stuff. Alright, it's a good one. Let's see what happens when that is combined. Like that. Put levels on it for the mask. Oh. I think that's alright, and then when it gets a little bit later on, I could probably use more of those. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm still undecided if I want that or not. If I want any green on it, or how visible that's actually going to be. Who knows? And I think I'm going to try this in the height. So let's find out where my... Oh, right, I see. Like, what were they doing there? Did that earlier. Oh geez. Not. Let's just smooth off some areas. Just turn that way down. Way down. reference. So move that back a little bit more, just so I can talk a bit louder. Just gonna move it back so I can overlay it just like that. Amazing. Random noises. Ooh. Yeah, just like basically grab any one of these and just get like, or if you want it as a brush, it's like those brush patterns on. Yeah, for the algae and that, right? But yeah, the algae at the moment, I'm not even sure if I want it, which, as you say, is a good thing. Just separate it as a decal and then I can use it or not use it. But yeah. I guess at any point you can just get a polygon or something. Maybe make that like a square, like how it does with what is that? Is it in design? Is it in Painter or something like that? You press like brush, you scroll it onto brush shape, and it brings in the edges. Pretty much just blend anything. So let's get an early height, blend that over, and then sort of use that. As a brush decal thing, maybe. But yeah, I've got it's a good idea. I've got all the noises available to me at different points in the state in the thing, so I can just put an output wherever I want and just get some of them. That'd be pretty cool. But let's sort this. I think I want to add it like 0.01 or something, 0001. Let's skip that for a second. I think that's 0. Yes, that's my noise. Let's see if that comes back in. Yeah, noise. And then barely anything. Yeah, maybe it's there, maybe it isn't. A little something. I think just adding the algae just makes it hopefully look a little bit better from, or I am pretty much directly copying that reference. The algae's it's a lot more self-contained compared to mine, but it's kind of all over the place on most of the references. That's more of a flaw, so it's got some of these pebbles collected. This one's got some stuff that I think a little bit like that. Yes. It's quite a dark rock. It's a dark rock in the concept, or maybe that's from a lot of shadow. But just realised. Let's grab some of these. It's only a preview bake, so you're seeing a lot of shadow issues, and also the block out meshes. So, and as I was talking about to some people, I was saying I've made a ton of these. So I'm gonna have to sculpt them at some point, but I just wanted some different arrangements, like having them kind of sloped down, or having some with a hard straight edge. No. Yes, back to that. It's just a little something that I wanted to put in so that I remembered to come back to it later. Kind of have more going out into that, into the fading out into that, into the background. I think my base color is looking how I want it to look, but I still think there's more I can do with the height. What is that? Why is that? If you wanted something more like algae rings. So I've got something like the algae rings. It's just that it's too... What I've got for it is... So I've got like a one right there. But the problem being it is surrounded by quite a few others. And I think that this is like it as well. And I was actually considering just replacing that one earlier with not a range histogram scan. Considering replacing that with see which ones come up here. Stick that all the way up. Multiply that. Really seeing the pixels here. Very small. And I'll hit it with the old rotate it, however, whatever, and maybe do that instead. That's a little bit more like correct. I realise I've got two transforms. Still a little bit too much, but yeah, it's probably fine. Put a HSL on it just to test. Purple. It's quite a dark one in the reference. Yeah, I don't think I'll change that, but so what I'll do is I'll quickly try it out in a few marmoset scenes because I don't really like any of the renders here, although I will just show how quick it renders with RTX. So let's go Ivory Renderer. It's going to get rid of my height and stuff, and my roughness now looks weird. But they have integrated stuff that just allows it to render like, so it says it's been 4 seconds and and the render's just fine. So I could try and get that to look better, but I'm not too familiar with any of this stuff because I'm pretty sure that's not how it's. I think it wants specular or something like that, and it just doesn't look. Does look a little bit better. I guess let's have a look. And then yeah, I've got my environments on the left here. I don't know if I clicked that or if it just did it. Let's try it under a few different ones. I'll make that full screen. Again, I have no idea if doing any of this affects the stream or makes it lag or anything like that. Yeah. Looks alright. Put it back to OpenGL. Yeah. Ooh, no, that's not what I want. How do I put it? Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's re-export these. See if I've got a sphere in here somewhere. Or just try and find the rounded cube. Rounded cylinder. Because it's all the stuff that's already inside Substance. I'd usually just work inside Unreal now. I've not used Marmoset in a long time. Or I would use Blender's real-time renderer. But this should be pretty quick. If I can find all the files. Let's just quickly. I find it looks a lot better if I change this to. See, I messed this up now. Let's put that. Find it looks a lot better when you do actually add the curvature. It's not something that I usually did, but I just started using it and it did make it look a lot better. But I don't want it everywhere, so I'm just changing the levels on that. Re-export these outputs and give it a moment. See, it's working here. And then I shall place them wherever they want to be. flip the Y. Roughness. Specular to metalness to 0. It's not looking good in that top right preview. Don't know what I've done wrong. AO and curvature. Ew. Yikes. And these immediately will be too strong, so just, invert that. Probably. Hey, that's a good background. If anyone's got any secret tips and tricks that they like to use, probably Declan. I mean, he's the only one in the chat. But there are 5 people here. If anyone has any suggestions for setup or how this could look a little bit better, then by all means. Unless you are Declan. In which case you'll just do it anyway. But yeah. Brightness, childlike brightness, width, soften that up. Ooh. Forgotten how to change this to the world. I'm really just trying to get a feel for it. It's the only reason I'm doing it is just to see if it feels right in real time or whatever, which it doesn't currently, in my opinion. I'm going to try turning that up even more, just because sometimes mega strong normal. Oh, didn't like that at all. Mega strong normal might just sort it out a little bit as far as Momset's concerned. Maybe not. Just export that normal again. Just really make sure that this is updating. I don't know, does that look like rock? Like a natural rock? Doesn't look as good as the scans, of course. I don't know, left and right. Contrast in the base colour, perhaps. So I see people are dropping in and dropping out. I'm just working on Substance. It's quite early just to be working on Substance, but I do like it, and I'm just learning stuff and just trying to get things to a higher level. So just starting off with a base rock that's going to be used everywhere, even probably on the architectural details. Just put like a really light base rock on everything. I've not spent too long on it at the moment. I did it a little bit last night, maybe for like an hour, and then I have come back, and it's not like a mega graph. I'm just trying to get that like last 10% of like micro details and really try and get that sorted, but it's always that last little bit that just doesn't look right, but I just can't. Let's see this. Too much. So once I get this just looking how I want it, then everything's just gonna, you know, because it's gonna be placed across 90% of the environment, probably, in various forms, just as like the majority of the roughness detail and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's a good place to put some time in and start off. Try some of these scenes, because I have messed it up, I think. It's too dark. It's better. I can't get a good angle on it. So I'm doing up the contrast a little bit to try and bring out some of those darker details. And then if I did it on a larger shape, then it would include a lot more of the curvature probably, so it's always, say if I looked at some of these, then that would probably have quite a lot of detail on the edges and stuff like that. Because you can see there's colour on the smoother bits here, and there's colour on the inner bits. But this is my main reference, and I still think that my base colour is pretty much spot on there, but I just can't seem to get any. I just can't seem to do that last little bit on the height, probably, or the roughness. Oh yeah, let's change the render settings here. Yeah. So I'll export that base colour again, because it's not on my change. Export done. Very, very slight change, not quite. Just seeing if that's, sometimes, I mean, I don't want to turn it off, I want to keep it on, but sometimes it just messes up, I think. Still not how I imagine it. Again, if anyone is watching and they've got any ideas of what they think it's missing, or just what it's, you know, is it too blurry, and I get rid of that blur on the earlier part, because I did put just an extra blur in here. Put that to like 0. Not 0. Well, that's probably not going to do anything. Just 0.1. it. What was it on before? Oh, I'll just delete it. Not bothered. Export the outputs. Let's get a sphere in here. Everyone loves a sphere. Sphere. 2 tiles on the sphere. Who doesn't like a sphere? Good old-fashioned sphere. I think it's probably the roughness, just needs more contrast or something. The height could be okay. It just doesn't look right to me, something. And I just want to give it that extra bit of time just to do something to it, but I don't know what that is. Let's levels that. Oh yeah, I can't see anything there. It's weird. I swear I had more contrast than this. Is that the height? Yeah, that's why. I moved the roughness down here, didn't I? Yeah, that's a little bit, that's better. Still want some of it. It's going to be very rough. Just a little bit more. Yeah, let's try that out. Re-export the outputs, give that a minute. Oh, I didn't see. The chat was broken. I didn't see your text, Declan. I don't know if you're still here, Dec, but it was stuck on just seeing that Steam's good was the last thing, and then I suddenly typed my thing in, and now I see go to their Artstation, copy everything. Exactly. Well, I usually download. In fact, I did download some of theirs, so I will. No, I don't think I downloaded some of theirs. I'll just reload this and see if that's made a difference. Now, is there too much noise in that? It's rock. I mean, a lot of people prefer the... Yeah, maybe there is too much noise in that, I don't know. So it's fairly similar. That one just needs a little bit of a bluish tint to it on these dark spots. Like, it's looking a little bit warmer. Which is probably the lighting. It's definitely the lighting. But I'll make... Since I've got one in there, I'll just make it a little bit cooler. Has that done anything? Am I going in the cool direction? Whoa. Well, it's basically grey, isn't it? So it's not going to come across. I'll just redo one of these, like the base one, with a little bit more blue in it. Like this one. Maybe? Yeah, it's basically grey. It's all good. Okay, here we go. when you, I'm pretty sure I've spelled that right. When you Google him, it just comes up with a load of people that have copied his, that have imitated his stuff, or used him as reference, or done, or done one of his tutorials, or all this sort of stuff. I can't actually see any that have. Oh, there we go. Nope, that's not him. It's a good one. It's very good. Have I spelt this wrong? I mean, they're all really good, but where's... There he is. So we've got all the rocks. And then most of them are this sort of... they've got like quite a smooth surface on the top, which is something that I'm going to do with this. I'm just going to blur it out and use the detail as like a blurred detail in some cases. But let's just bring that back over there so I can see what's going on. Cool, yeah. Yeah, so they got a lot of this cool smooth stuff on his rocks. So that one's a smoother one. That's like a mineral, so it's smoother. And then this one, they all look really nice. They've got this, but you can see it's quite reflective and quite smooth. Not like the reference that I've got, although maybe the roughness on that is a little bit higher, a little bit lower, more shiny than what I've got. And this will be more in line with what I've got, but again, the roughness on this looks like it's quite... Well, let's see, there's the roughness channel. So most of the roughness, most rough parts are in the crevices, and then you've got maybe mid-grey across the whole surface, which is quite shiny, in my opinion. Let's have a look. Can't see any of them that are completely rough, like maybe even this. Yeah, even that's got quite a lot of shine to it. So maybe I should just... I mean, the reference doesn't have that much shine, but... Oh no, so that... I mean, that... So this is more shiny inside, if that is the roughness, or maybe that's ambient occlusion. That looks more like ambient occlusion on the left. I guess the reason that looks so much like that is just because it's quite bright. Here we go. So any of them roughness. Like that's crazy good. Height's crazy good. Base colour. No roughness in that one. Oh, this one's a little bit more like it. It's a volcanic, is it? Lava crust. Okay, I'll change my roughness. So in that Artstation reference, if you took like say, they aren't good examples. If I looked at just a normal rock like this, okay, not that one. Although that looks like it's got the right amount of detail. If I looked at any of these, I'm pretty much making just that midsection here, just so that I can place it on top of some of this sort of stuff. And that's the roughness there, I think. So yeah, mine's really... Maybe I could just lower my roughness quite a bit. So let's get that. I think I was just doing the contrast in that. Let's go early on to my range and we'll move it down. Let's see how that's affecting it. And I got a histogram range here. Let's bring that low. So we're getting barely any height detail in there. You're getting all normal. I kind of liked it higher. Maybe that could be like 0.15. But yeah, I should get it in engine really, but I'm just wanting to focus on this substance, just try and get it looking good. Like no one's really going to care about it when it is once it's actually put onto the assets. When it's in context, it could look really bad on its own, but in context, it probably looks fine. And then with all the other stuff that's going on, like actually running it through Painter and putting a load of other stuff on top of that, and then the ZBrush detail beneath that and all that's, it's all going to layer up and it's just probably going to look fine no matter what. By the end, after everything else is done. But I do want it to be good on its own. So hopefully I can achieve that. And we'll have a little look. Although, as I say, I hope it will solve the issues with this that I've had in the background all this time. I want to sharpen up those edges, but I don't think deflating it would do. Alright, let's bring this in. Let's see what it looks like in here now. Now it's a little bit more shiny. Ooh, too shiny. But a little bit better actually, probably, maybe. Yeah, like, so that's, doesn't look good, this shiny, but that looks a little bit better. So let's just see what we're doing. I think, what am I doing with that? I'm adding that on, so that should look pretty cool. I am subtracting that a little bit, so that should just come up pretty nice. Let's just sort that out like that. See if this chats. So it definitely looks a little bit better being shinier. So I inverted that here because that's the ambient occlusion in these sections, so I've made that just a little bit brighter, but maybe I could just levels that out a little bit and just sort of do that. Let's see what that's really coming in. Now that's really lower. So when I get to this point, just silently thinking about these values. I just hope it looks, you know, I'm just thinking like, right, well I do want it to fade. I don't want this sort of, I don't want those little squiggles. I don't even know really where they've come from. But I do want it to be pretty shiny across some of these surfaces that are less. So I'm trying to bring in that top section. And then I'm sharpening it, and that's alright. I'll bring the position down a little bit. Some of this back. Okay, let's give that a re-export. Give that a moment while it re-exports. Now give it a moment to load in Substance. As you can see, again, it's not looking good when it's got that much, when I'm zoomed this far in, and just how it's... Okay, so it's still too shiny. I think I just want to put an extra bit of noise over it. So let's get some noise that I've got somewhere. I think it's just this one. Yeah, let's do that. Just gonna basically add this on top. I'll export just the roughness, 'cause that's all I'm changing. Police outside, you probably hear that. I live near a police station, and I found out that I live near an ice cream truck, where all the ice cream trucks go. So basically, you can hear the police during the night, especially on a Friday and Saturday night, and then you can hear ice cream trucks in the summer, just all the time. So, great for streaming, great for doing any sort of content creation. Might just leave it how it is. I don't know. Who knows? Get it in engine. Look a lot better then. Or let's just publish the SBSR, which I'm actually confused with, because I'm going to create quite a few little things beneath this, but when I publish the SBR, I don't want them all to export into the SBSR, so let's just make this, rock surface will do. Call it AS for Artstation. Let's publish that. Let's get it into. Let's get rid of some of those layers. Let's get rid of that. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's get rid of some of these. So we're just getting the base. Look a lot better. Artstation rock surface, base material. We'll do it just for this project before when I don't know what it looks like just yet. I haven't done anything to optimize it either, so let's see how this goes. Well, I'm not sure what I could do. Lower the noise on some of them. They're all absolute at the moment. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I could. Is there a quick? Does anyone know if there's a quick way to set that up? Can I set it up so they're not 4K? Because all these inputs would need to be parent times 1, right? Yeah. No, they're not absolute. Yeah, good. So that should work. Let's have a look. If it doesn't break my machine. that minute to load. Very slow. It doesn't look that bad in the thumbnail. Whoa. Pretty dark. My machine is lagging. Come on. Wow, it doesn't like this at all. Okay. Well, we're done with that. I'm going to add a fill layer on top and just write a filter. Just get the hue saturation, lightness, oh, saturation, wow, saturation up a little bit, lightness, I think that's pretty cool. Let's just turn on some of the other layers that I added. So I don't want that one. We want that one just for some of those edges. And then let's get the reference up. They're pretty uniform. In a lot of these references, the actual... I mean, I was trying to just create a base rock based on just generic rock. For that, just that detail, but the actual cylinders themselves, they are pretty uniform. That one looks really weird. Not sure why I've got that in there. It's like it's been sculpted. It's probably looks like it could be fake or something. I don't know. There was talk of whether this one was fake or not. Kind of looks fake in some ways, but you've got a very flat, uniform surface, and that's why I made this anyway. So basically, if I just put the tiling up just like to 2 maybe, if it doesn't take forever to load that, shouldn't do. I'm not getting those UV issues now because the height is so uniform. So the height is like it's so uniform that it's all good. Let's see, a lot of light shining on the tops of these. That's sort of what the tops look like for as far as the floor. If there was a floor made out of them, would go. Sharp tops, which is what I haven't got at the moment, so I will be redoing it. And then they've got all this sort of like horizontal folded stuff going on, which is what I was going to create next. So all these sort of cracks that go horizontally, and yeah, there's an example of one that goes across 2 pillars, which is strange. Don't know how that happens. And there's another one that's sort of it's offset by the other pillar somehow. Don't know how that happens. These large chips that go into it, it's all sort of horizontal. These steps that go up the sides, that's weird. That's how big they are. You see, like, that's probably a very small human, but it encases the entire, if that was like extruded upwards, then it would just encase the entire person. That's how kind of thick they are. So they're really like quite broad. If you're thinking about it as like human scale. And mine in my scene, based on the concept, because I think in the concept, let's see the concept again, there's quite a lot of them, but there's not enough. I think there's a lot of them in there, and mine were pretty thick, but they're also probably a little bit thinner than they should be, because if I grab a human scale thing, you're looking at about 3 of them being this, you know, and I think if I just made one of them that big, then it wouldn't look very good. Just my opinion anyway. I think the only part of this that isn't going to change is I think that these ones work. I'm going to create, I've got 2 variations of them that I can just swap between for slight, but I might make them just go inward, curved upwards a little bit, or curved downwards, which would be pretty cool. And then I've got some extra ones that just stick out there. What else does this need? As far as the actual real life reference goes, it doesn't need much, it just needs those cracks on the horizontal. Still not sure how I want to do them. I think I want to just create a substance now that does it as a brush. A brush for ZBrush rather than like an alpha. An alpha for ZBrush rather than a brush for Substance, although I might do it in Substance as well. So let's do want that. So at the moment, that's weird. Just get a base color, roughness, and that should make it just look normal. And what am I thinking? So really, this top left one's, I like this one. I think I want to stagger some sort of thing that can create that sort of detail. Should be pretty easy. Let's create a few random alphas like that. Let's view that as the base colour actually. And so I'm just going to go like poly, turn higher, turn no tiling. Do it 30 degrees. No. Softening it off. I'll completely soften it off. Well, I think I will. Soften it off like that, just so that it's soft like that. And I think maybe I'll bevel it separately on inwards. Let's just maybe it doesn't need that. Let's try it without that. Yeah, the bevel changes it up a little bit, so if I sharpen that out. And blend. Just want a sharp point. Going about this all wrong. Seagulls now. That's another noise as well. To be expected. Just getting a point in there because I don't want, because it's sharp at the point, but it's not sharp everywhere else. How do I? An idea being seagulls playing rhyme. Rhyme was good with the seagulls and rhyme, oh yes. So I'll grab that. Like output. Like quite an early one for the medium detail. Maybe a bit later, yeah. And what auto levels that? Like just make it crazy. And I'm hoping I can just multiply that detail onto there, just to make it look rocky, like really easily. So it needs to be sharper. It's kind of annoying. do some of these. Or let's try like something random on it, like just throw in a slope blur or anything onto it, just to spread it out more randomly. I'm really just trying this out. I'm not doing anything too specific. Got to avoid that edge. Let's make that larger. Just levels on that. See what I'm looking at again. It's really smooth. So I kind of want to smooth, but it's got the using that for like random edge. Blend back over with this. To try and put levels on this. Let's go try random things. I'm gonna save that for now. I think that did look a lot better than putting the other one on. Don't want too many things open at once. I don't think I'll need that for now. Let's experiment with some ZBrush. So start again on the ZBrush, and I'll just try out using one of these as like a as a mask, and then if it works well, then I'll generate some more. If it doesn't work, then I shall do it by hand or something else. So if I export the output as a bitmap, what do I call it? /01 or something like that. Export the output to rock. So you have to bear with me while I remember how to import alphas into ZBrush. Unless there's someone in the chat who's listening, who's posted a lot, that knows how to do it immediately. Alright, let's open ZBrush. So that's my... I do remember, I think I remember, it's just in the masking settings. Or something like that, it's in the alphas. I don't know. Totally confident with this software. So confident that I'm going to take my time to look around, find the perfect thing I want. So I'm going to start from scratch with the one that I started from originally. So this is the original. This is all broken up into separate thingies, separate columns. Now I could, as the recommendation of Declan, I could split it into subgroups, and then hopefully that would define the edge a lot more. I think I might do that for now. I'm not sure what I want to do. I'll get my touch ZBrush Alpha. Click the texture. Import. Alpha, yeah. Artstation challenge, substance, and there it is. I'm going to make this a drag brush, and then I'm going to subtool. I could split it at the moment. Totally could. I'm going to do it. Similar parts, split to parts. It didn't work. It has not worked. I'll Dynamesh at the moment and I'll just check how well this is working for me, this alpha. Let's have a look. Dynamesh. Resolution way up. Way up. And let's just not what? Oh, well, you're getting. It doesn't like that. See, it's caught you in the filter. You're not. I don't know what you've said. Oh. Artstation notifications. Ugh. Someone follow me? You follow me? Polygroup tab, auto groups, split tab, group split, polygon tab, polygroups, polygon, put. Polygroup, oh yes, polygroup tab, auto groups. Oh, I've already Dynameshed it now. I will sort that out at some point. So this isn't exactly how I imagined it. I imagined it would be more like a Boolean operation, you know, like I imagined that the actual shape of the alpha that I did would just would 100% cut into this mesh and not like push it downwards. So because I don't want it like bending the edge inwards slowly. I want to retain that edge so that it looks like it's a chip. So this has not gone as planned. Could use it as an actual alpha for a mask. The fall off of the brush will affect the alpha drag. May help. Fall off. Oh yes. Oh god. I totally remember. Totally can change the fall off on this thing. Oh yes. It's focal shift, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Intensity, just make it like, yeah, that's a little bit better. I think it's a good start. Like if I had a few random ones of these, I could start it off like that for sure, and then come in with a tool, trim, 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 trim. Trim. I can't read. There you are. Trim smooth border. Let's try it. Whoa. 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 Right, well at this point I'm basically sculpting it in, so this is definitely not what I want. It's not what I imagined. I'll just try it again. Right. So I'm going to sharpen those. Mouse. Thinking. I think I'll just make a real quick crack substance, and then I shall call it on the stream, and I will continue off stream, because if I just go into ZBrush more I'm going to be messing around because I don't use it very often. So I will just put this back down and I will continue that a little bit later. It has been 2-hour stream, so really quick crack should be pretty easy. I think how I want to do it is tile sampler. So this is going to be in a brush alpha, so tiny scale, distance these. I'm going to be on, I usually work while just having Discord open, or I like going to do one of these streams, hopefully one a week, and just try and get this sort of working as like a, not really a team, but definitely a social thing. And that hasn't worked because one of these needs histogram scanning. Distance in thousands. And then if I just want horizontals. This is how you'd usually do cracks in some ways, so now I've got that, which is kind of what you want. And I just want horizontal detail, so I was hoping I would just be able to put one of these to 0 and it would just give me the yeah, if I just put, it would just give me sort of that, but that's not quite correct. So what I'm going to try is putting in some of that. Because this is how you do cracks. You'd do that, you'd invert it, you'd do some warping with some kind of other soft or noisy texture, just to get it a little bit more random. Maybe the scale on that's a little bit, or you use the non-directional warp, non-directional warp, and maybe you could bring that in through some of this as well, and that probably creates a better result. Or maybe, ooh, get some interesting results with those things. It's pretty cool. And then once it's all warped up, you could then maybe combine it back with the old one, the non-warped one, maybe the slightly warped one. Put that on that max, and just have it turn that down, or just levels this. Yeah, stuff like that. Not what I'm doing though. I just want to think about the horizontal, which is what I am doing. Horizontal. Yeah, so what I want is to, rather than gradient these randomly, I want to say get a gradient and then just levels that. Scan it, histogram scan it, so that I get two, yeah, just so I can turn the contrast up and get 2 lines. Color map input. And I should be able to put a lot more of these in, because now I'm not going to be colouring them randomly. I'm going to be colouring them by the input, which shouldn't be 100% black, but there you go. Let's random seed this a little bit. So I've got a split of them just being random wherever they, like that one looks pretty good probably. and now when it's distance, I've got one line that's just going across, because it's distancing two groups that are just two slightly different colours. So you can see that there. And then I can just start adding more, and that'll just increase the resolution of that middle line. And I'm getting like double lines up here because it's doing distance on the top and bottom, so it's tiling it. But what my plan would be is to combine that with something like this, but move that into the middle and just so now I've cut off that top. I've cut off the top and bottom lines there now. So now I've just got a horizontal crack that I can just start messing around with to try and create this sort of stuff. I think if I wanted it to be a little bit smoother, I could maybe blur it at this point. Or on the edge detect itself, if I just levels this now. No, not like, I could, yeah, split it up. Edge detect, give it a bit of roundness for those inner bits. And I could potentially, maybe if I just say, put this into a new empty graph. Oops, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Put an output on that. Where am I looking? Copy that, paste that other stuff in that I made here. So try and copy that in. Back to this one. Save all that. Delete that. Drag in two of them. Random seed. Maybe I should have. Let's just let's just expose these. So I'm going to expose that one, X amount. Expose this one, Y amount. Back to the graph, and now I can see them on here, and I'll go with less here, more there. Don't want to take it too far. That's pretty good. Blend these together. Now what I was thinking is I can then flood this, I think. If it's inverted. Flood fill this. Okay, that didn't work either. I've forgotten how the flood fill works apparently. If I just random seed this until I get one that works and looks good. Yeah, I think that's what I want. So I want to flood fill that to like a random grayscale. No, apparently not. Flood fill needs like enclosed spaces, so if I distance I just want to cut off one of these spaces so I can work things out a little bit better, but because that definitely works for what I want. But then what I want out of it is just to be able to create forks. And then create forks in the road. I guess that needs something else I'm not quite thinking about. Alright, so what does flood fill want again? If I go to if I go to bricks like that, then flood fill should work. Yeah. It's clearly broken there just because of that big bit being so big. Another way I could do this is just get the cells for whatever sort of cells that it likes. Let's just scale this edge detect, roundness, distance, gradient. Flood fill grayscale, so I'll copy that one. And that has not worked either. Strange. Not enough pixels. Wait, why is that one not working? This one should definitely work. That one works. Cells 3, is it? Not cells 3. Cells 2. Cells 2 is essentially what we're just doing. Doesn't work. It's very strange. Wait, what? Did I change a setting? Why is that one? That one works. Okay. Okay. Now it works. I'm glad I live streamed that because that was definitely not my fault. And then you can distance this by that, and it should, or distance this by that. And there we go. That's cutting them up. So now if I histogram that, then in this distance thing I should be seeing edges like that, which I can contrast. Now separately I am creating edge detect, distance needs to be a lot higher, really high, so it doesn't detect it as an edge. And now I've got two lines that are based on this, which is sort of in some ways another way to create those lines. I was hoping it would come up with a better way to create forks in the road. Splits in the path, but I'll have to think about that a little bit more, I suppose. Get some food, have a rest as this live stream has gone on. And if I come up with a solution, I'll probably show it in next week's live stream, or hopefully on Saturday around, maybe a little bit earlier, hopefully. But alright everyone that's popped in and out, thanks for watching, and this will be on the channel anyway, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one. Now I need to know how to end it.